All right. How are you?
Sorry, good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm saying hi to everybody online. And hey, what do you say we get this party started? Hit it. All right. You know this song. We've been singing it all month. It sounds a little different. But if you want to stand up, if you feel like moving your body, you're allowed to do that. This morning I was testing all of this out, and I said, this is a test, but not of the emergency broadcast system, of the emergence broadcast system. So let's emerge today. What do you say? Yeah, sounds like a good plan to me. All right, so there are some instructions here. You ready? Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the light in you. Feel the love you were born to be. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we do come together in the name of love. Such a beautiful thing, don't you think? All right, more instructions. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I love me and I love you too. Feel the love you were born to be. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, in every walk of life, in every creed and color, in kinship we unite. In honor of the light in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love you were born to be. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love. Right. Yes, that is what we are here to do. We are here to come together in the name of love. Welcome to Sunday morning. Welcome to our Sunday gathering here at Tucson New Thought. Tucson New Thought is a spiritual community where all are welcome. Every single person who walks through our doors is welcomed with open arms. And because we recognize that there is an inherent truth that connects each and every one of us, and that is we are the light of love. Every single person that exists on this planet, everything that exists on this planet is born of love. Everything is created from love, and that is the truth that we celebrate here every single week. Our vision here at Tucson New Thought is to create a world that works for everyone. And we do this through our mission of providing practical tools for personal and spiritual transformation. And I may have to be shifting that a little bit after my talk today, and you'll all understand why. You'll understand why. We value here community, creativity, diversity, but above all, we value love. And so that's what we are here to be, is points of love expressed at all times. What I would love to do is to, we've all said these beautiful things during the song to our neighbors, but I would love for us to turn to our neighbor and let them know how magnificent they are by saying, you are magnificent. So turn to your neighbor, let them know. And for everyone who is online, just know, I know that you are magnificent. You're magnificent. Yes. And William, you are magnificent. And Marvis, you are magnificent. Mirta, you are, I'm just going to go. Mirta, you are magnificent. Britt, you are magnificent. Garland, you are magnificent. Carrymon, you are magnificent. Tracy, you are magnificent. Aiden, you are magnificent. Don't ever forget your magnificence. Anita, you are magnificent. We already did it earlier. William, you are magnificent. So in that magnificence, let's allow ourselves to experience some centering time. So I invite you to just relax and allow yourself to feel the energy. Feel the activated energy that we have created, that we have invited into our experience here and now. I feel it right in my heart space, right at the heart chakra. I invite us to allow our focus to fall to our breath. Simply becoming aware of the breath. There's no need to force it. Just allowing the awareness that it is there. And it does exactly what it needs to do to nourish the body. And so we relax into that easy rhythm. Not needing to make anything happen. Just deepening into that awareness that it is happening. With each exhale, the body becomes more relaxed. Simply inhale, easy, and exhale. With ease and grace, we allow it. Now allowing our expanded awareness to move to that place of understanding that we are held in the hands of grace. That we are fully immersed in infinite spirit. There is no separation. There is only goodness and light and harmony. In this, we can live in complete faith, in complete trust, that the forward momentum and flow of life is always in the direction of the constructive. And so giving into love, our lives are perfectly constructed. For this I am grateful. I am grateful. I am grateful. The inherent nature of you is divine. And so we allow ourselves to continue for just a few moments in this centered place of awareness. Gently affirm within you with your inside voice, I am here. I am fully present. I am open to a positive, inspiring experience for myself and for this entire group. And with a final, easy breath, I invite you to open your eyes. were you expecting a song? I'm changing it up. Yeah. It keeps us on our toes. Yes, it does. I'm going to allow us to take that energy into this next moment, where I get to introduce my sister, who is going to be doing a reading for us today. And this is a woman who I've watched transform over the years, but very specifically over the past year. And I just want to honor that it was about this time last year that she gave me a call, and she said, I know that you go to Hawaii every year for a spiritual journey, and I'm thinking about, I don't know, maybe I'm going to go. And I said, you just got to make the commitment. You just got to do it. And so if you're going to go, make the commitment. And so she basically in that moment made the commitment. And that journey took place in January, and it was the launching point for a really a tremendous transformation over the course of this year. And so I know that what she brings to us today is deeply inspired, and I'm so grateful to have her do a reading and a reflection for us. Please welcome Carrie Mon Pierce. And as you make your way up here, I'm going to make sure that the microphone is, I'm going to make sure that it is appropriately. There we go.
How's that sound? And so in that commitment that I made, it also meant that I quit my job at the time and made the leap of faith to step back into entrepreneurship, which is where I was prior to it, and then took a job, thought, oh, I got to be, and then jumped back. So there was a lot of leaps of faith that were going on, and it's true. It was the start of a journey. So this month, the theme is grace, gratitude, and trust. And I know you've heard some wonderful, readings from a few different people about that. And so I was thinking about, okay, what am I going to share with you today? Really, the word trust kept coming back to me. Trust the process. That's been my mantra this entire year. And so for that, I started to look for a reading, and I picked out this really great book. It's called Shit Your Ego Says. Strategies to Overthrow Your Ego and Become the Hero of Your Story by James McCrae. And it's been, the Huffington Post says, James McCrae is the Eckhart Tolle of the internet generation. So I thought you'd get a kick out of that. It's been a great book, actually. I wasn't sure what I was getting into when I picked it up, but it was recommended to me, and I found a very interesting passage. So we'll just start with the passage, and then I'll tell you what came up for me. So it says, trust wherever you are. There is a parable in the Stoic philosophy about a dog and a wagon. Life is a moving wagon, and the parable says that every person is a dog tied to that wagon with a rope. When the wagon moves, it pulls us forward, whether we like it or not. And we have two choices. We can run alongside, or we can resist and be dragged. The first choice, of course, requires a little bit of work, but the second choice is much more painful. And either way, we're going to go to the same place. The wagon always leads us where we need to be. Life is not always fair, but it never makes mistakes. When we become frustrated and curse our fate, that it's hard to believe that, we can trust life. But wherever we are, mountain, valley, a feast, a war, we are moving towards self-actualization according to the laws of our own unique dharma. Every soul has a different lesson to learn, and our present conditions do not determine our destiny. One day we're slaves, and then the next day we're kings. The wheel is always spinning, and we are always in a position to create inner peace and stillness. This can't be true, the ego says. What about circumstances that make self-actualization impossible, like poor health or poverty? Every struggle has a purpose, the higher self says. Sometimes that purpose is exploration. Consider the ancient pioneers. They faced great tribulations and darkness, including the possibility of sickness, death, cannibalism, storms, sea monsters, enemy tribes, in order to expand the horizons of humanity. Their journey was a struggle, yet they continued. They built settlements where once was only mystery and laid the foundation for a new world. You too are an explorer. Your purpose is uncharted territory. There are no maps, and the road is unpaved. Will you face obstacles? Of course. But obstacles are merely the brush and the thorns and the branches that must be removed as you blaze the trail toward a new horizon. And when you arrive, by turning your resistance into persistence, you will look back and understand that your struggle, because you had to rise above it, was the catalyst that awoke you from your conditioning to remember that your nature is to shine. And so this little passage brought up a quick story that I want to share with you, which has to do with a boy who sits in the back of the room there that about 15 and a half years ago I gave birth to. And I had a whole plan for his birth. Wait, let me back up. First, I want to revisit the wagon, right? So if life is a wagon and we're attached and we're going wherever that wagon's going, and we can either run alongside or we can be dragged. And so put that as the framing. So it's time to give birth to Aiden. Everything was moving along nicely. I had planned a birth at a birth center, the Hollywood Birth Center. Woo! I was living in LA at the time. It sounds very glamorous. A natural birth. It was going to be this beautiful experience. I got to the birth center. Everything was moving along. Jonathan showed up. Our mother showed up, another friend. They sat in this comfortable living room space as I was in a comfortable bedroom space, and it was so beautiful and everything. And then the day went, and the day turned into night, and we were all wondering what's going to happen because no baby. Baby was not moving along and wanting to descend and come, onto the next stage and come out. And so we had a moment where the midwife said, guess what? It's time to go to the hospital. And we got into a car. I was in full labor. And we drove to the hospital, and we had to go in through emergency. It was very bizarre. They were asking me, this is super personal, but they were asking me as they did the check-in, they're like, so what's the date of your last period? And I thought, 10 months ago? Come on. This is a crazy question. But, the person was typing in their information, and I'm in full labor. And so anyway, we get to into a room, and I get the most fantastic nurse who literally just got things going. I got an epidural going. She gave me Pitocin, which is the drug that helps create more intense contractions. This was not my plan. This is so far from my plan. But guess what? That's where the wagon was going. And I had a choice. I could run alongside and recreate this, what was happening, or I could be dragged. And this moment became really clear to me when so this is Cedars-Sinai Hospital, one of the biggest hospitals in LA. It's also a learning hospital. So there was some intern, or not an intern, but what do they call it? Resident, doctor. This young woman came in suspicious of me. I was thinking, where have I been with, some voodoo women or something, because I'd been with midwives. And that was not her mental model. And she said to me, well, we're going to be giving you Pitocin, which is, it's going to create contractions, and there's risk involved. And she looked at me. She said, and the risk is it could rupture your uterus. But this is your only option, and you're going to have to sign it off that you're going to agree to this right now. Like complete fear. She decided to create fear for me. And I looked at her knowing that my nurse had bypassed and just taken care of me and gotten the Pitocin going already, and it was already a decision. And I smiled at her and I said, yes, give me the paper, we'll sign, no problem. And again, I knew in that moment that I was running alongside my wagon, that whatever was happening that was what I was to be doing. And even in the face of fear, someone trying to create fear so that I could have moved into the space of being dragged again, nope. I decided to run alongside, and then they gave me the next level, which was, you have an hour and a half, or we're taking you in for a cesarean. And now we're at about close to 30 hours of labor, which I understood. It was like, so I had the name Aiden already. I went into my yoga breathing and deep breathing, and I talked to him, and I said, Aiden, it's time. This is the plan now. I'm running alongside the wagon, and we got to make this happen. And in the next hour, he came. Again, not in the exact setting that I would have had in my mind, but I went with it. I ran alongside that wagon again. I had 11 people in the room, including Jonathan and my mother, like right here. My legs were up in stirrups. That was not my vision of birth either. All the things that were happening. And yet, so the moral of the story is a healthy, happy baby, right there now, almost 16. But the point is, I could have written a story from that was, oh, I had this terrible birth experience, and I'm going to hold on to it, and it's not what I wanted, and instead it was this whole other thing, and I had to fight, and no, I don't have this memory. I trusted the process. That's where the wagon was taking me, and that's where I was going to go. And really, the whole experience was filled with grace, gratitude, and trust. And so that was my story of that. And so there's one last little piece in this, 2 lines. So it is our nature to shine. And that was a moment that I feel proud of, that I shined in. And it says, trying to change the world is like walking into a wall. Changing ourselves transforms the wall into a door. And that's where I'll leave you today. Thank you.
I have such vivid memories of that experience. And knowing that, knowing the, I'm in that place of consideration of when I was 15 and a half, if my mother had stood on stage and told a story while I was sitting in the back of the room, how, you're good with that? He's shaking his head, he's like, I don't know.
I checked in with him. By the way, be ready for me to talk about your birth story while you're here.
He doesn't remember that at all. That's all good. I'm not going to tell you what I remember about that story. I'm just going to allow us to breathe, and I'm going to invite us all to sing another centering song. The lyrics are in your program. See, this is where the song has been put. I'm going to sing it through once, and then we can sing it all together, and that's how we're going to move through this next. I'm thinking about that night and morning now. All right, hit it, Aiden.
Loving Spirit, dwell in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit, dwell in me, now and evermore. Loving Spirit, dwell in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all
going to invite Carrie on to come back, since she's sort of become our resident candle lighter. Yes. A secret weapon. In my back pocket. Okay. Yeah. I love that song, Loving Spirit Dwell in Me. This is my divinity, because it is a real, for me, it is a deeper recognition of the understanding that there is only one power, one infinite creative resource, and all that exists, everything that exists in physical form and every thought that exists is all a part of this one infinite wholeness. And so we do a ceremony every week called Lighting the Flames of Faith, and it is ceremonially honoring all faith traditions, all religious paths, with that deep understanding that they all come from that one source. So we light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the divine will of love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them, and for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony. We light a candle to represent the healing of any circumstance that requires divinity to be revealed. And the final candle we light is a candle for you, to illumine the dark places, to allow that light to shine forth with whatever is in your mind that requires illumination. Thank you, Karimon. Some of you, I don't know if you will recognize that song that was underscoring. This morning, I'm like, what song can I underscore this with? Because I didn't want to use the same piano music. And what came through to me was the Donna Michael song, I Am a Light. I am a light. Perfect, yeah. And the light, as I mentioned a few weeks ago when I did the talk on the stained glass window, is pure white because it is made up of all the colors. And so today I wanted to sing a song, I was going to say a song from my childhood, and a song from my teenage years. You'll recognize it.
You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged, oh, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness inside you can make you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through, your true colors. That's why I love you, so don't be afraid to let them show your true colors, true colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy, can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, just call me up, because you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. Your true colors, that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy, you've taken all you can bear. Just call me up, because you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. Your true colors, that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors, true colors are shining through. I see your true colors, that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow.
I love that song. Everybody thinks that Cyndi Lauper wrote it. She didn't. But she made it famous, didn't she? And then it's been covered a million times by a million different people. Most recently by Anna Kendrick and Justin Timberlake. Yeah, at least the most recent that I found. I want to go back real quickly to the thing that I said about our mission. We provide practical tools for personal and spiritual transformation. And I said that there was going to maybe be a little shift in that for me today because of what I wanted to talk about. And it starts with this. You ready for this? You ready? You ready? I'm coming to the realization more and more deeply all the time that we cannot be spiritually transformed. We cannot be spiritually transformed because the whole of who and what we are is spirit. What are we transforming to? We cannot be spiritually transformed. So this is kind of like where I'm going, oh, well, then really what we're providing are practical tools for personal transformation to a deeper realization of that very fact that we are inherently spirit. And so we cannot be more spiritual ever than we are right in this moment, because 100% of us is spirit. Now, can we act in accordance with that understanding more effectively? Absolutely. Absolutely. Ernest Holmes wrote this: the world is saturated with divinity, immersed in reality, and filled with possibility. We must take this divine possibility and mold it into present actuality in everyday experience. It's almost a rap. The world is saturated with divinity, immersed in reality, and filled with possibility. We must. He's very direct here. We must take this divine possibility and mold it into present actuality in everyday experience. So that is basically the personal transformation that brings us to places like this, to centers for spiritual living, unity, whatever spiritual faith path you are on. Ultimately, what I think all of us are looking for is that personal transformation. I'm like dancing up here. Is that personal transformation to a deeper understanding of our inherent connection with the allness of life. That makes me feel good. It makes me feel really good. The way to freedom, the pathway to happiness is through doing this, through more deeply recognizing the core of who and what we already are, not trying to reach something we think is out there. Realizing, recognizing that it was all here, just like Dorothy. It's within us already. Home is a place that is in mind. That's what Dorothy learned. It was within her all along. The capacity to be home wherever she was. We do this, I think, most effectively through the practice of gratitude. This month, being the month of grace, gratitude, and trust, today is a little bit about gratitude, a little bit. But it is the last Sunday of the month, so I'm going to be kind of touching on all the points today. We lift ourselves, right? Last week I said we lift ourselves to a higher altitude through that attitude of gratitude. And so let us be grateful for everything that shows up in our lives. And if we see things that seem off, we get to reframe them. That's how we started the month. Carrymon did, when we did our spiritual circle, Carrymon did an exercise where we reframed thoughts that we had about things that maybe didn't feel so good, and we reframed them to allow ourselves to be grateful for them, right? So, I'm so busy. I have to do such and such a thing. You know what? I get to do such and such a thing. Well, that's a part of the transformation, but I am blessed to be able to do the work that is required for the growth of this center, because that means this center is blessed and growing, right? It's not that I have to do the work of the center. I am blessed to do the work of the center. If we take the moment to allow ourselves to moving from the have to the I am blessed, more and more and more, as a practice, it is steeped in this understanding that it is a personal transformation tool to bring us more into alignment with our inherent state of being. So, what's next? What do we do next? What is the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing? I've been putting this part of the experience towards the end of like the talk notes that I've started. But I'm going to do it earlier on, and there's a reason for that. So if you would please provide for me a number between 25 and 423. 261. I turned almost exactly to that page. A number between 1 and 4. 3. Now, oh, I love this. He's commenting on what I've just said. Now, take the time to realize the truth of the foregoing statements. It is not so much what you say, but the mental attitude you have when you say it that counts. There are no mistakes. Believe and you will be made whole is the key thought. Perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. Conform all statements to this proposition. I have to, or I am blessed to. He's laying it out right there. I have to, or I am blessed to. Take the time to realize the truth of the foregoing statements. It is not so much what you say, but the mental attitude you have when you say it that counts. This allows me to go to that place of allowing ourselves to be steeped in that mental attitude of gratitude at all times. Because something may come out in a way that we don't expect, but if we are steeped in that gratitude as the underlying core belief for the flow of our lives, then whatever the way it's expressed is always going to be right. and will always be for the highest and best of everyone around us, and for ourselves, not just everybody around us. It's all good for you, but what about me? Um, Believe and you will be made whole is the key thought. We have moved through a transformation within New Thought. Ernest Holmes, the founder of the branch of New Thought that I am specifically a minister within, he basically said, change your thinking, change your life. Do we all agree, change your thinking, change your life? Yes? Yeah? All right, what if I take it back further? Because what are thoughts rooted in? Thoughts are rooted in beliefs. So it's the thoughts can change, but what about changing our beliefs? Doesn't that seem to be a more grounded way of changing our lives if we're changing our beliefs? Yeah, but here's the thing. Beliefs are grounded in something else as well. Do you know what they're grounded in? Feeling. Our beliefs are colored by feeling. And so ultimately what we're looking to do, and many people feel that they do not have, get it? Many people feel they do not have control of their feelings, but we decide how we feel in any given situation, in any given circumstance. We actually make a decision. I walked into my other job yesterday, and I'm working at the bakery, and I walked in, and I was a little disappointed with what I walked into. It was a kind of a disaster in the kitchen, and what came through was I felt like there was an attitude of, well, we know that this late night crew is coming in. I was late night crew. This late night crew is coming in, so we can leave all of the dishes to be done by them because we have all of these other very important things to do. But so I walked in and I had a choice. I can either be really upset and go, oh, I have to do the dishes. Or I can step into that place of, I am so blessed to know that this job is helping support my life, and we were so busy today that I get to do the dishes. I am blessed to do these dishes because it was so busy that no one else was able to get to them, and how fortunate for me that I get to come in here and do them now. 4 hours of dishes, by the way. Because they're all done by hand. We don't have a dishwasher. They're all done by hand. So it's all about deepening into that place of feeling. I could have felt very upset and reacted out of that place of upset, that place of anger. Or I can turn the other cheek and say, you know what? This is a blessing, and I recognize the blessing. I recognize the blessing. So let us all start to recognize the blessing in everything. Perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. That is the core of understanding. Perfect God being perfect man. That's what I love to reshape it. So this is a great book, The Science of Mind, right? The Science of Mind, great book. So much infinite wisdom within these, it's actually more than 423 pages. The reason that I don't go past 423 is because it gets into, I guess I could do the meditations for self-help, things like that, but I just choose to let that be the point of randomness. So it's a great book. I love books. Love books. But I have to also allow myself to step back into a deeper realization, because here's what happens. I'm going to show you what happens. You ready for this? Just a little pitch for my other place of work. So this is, we're going to call this my bag of spirit. And I carry my bag of spirit wherever I go. And as I study, I'm going to put the study that I have done, Science of Mind, a great book. So I'm going to put that right in there. I've now got that as part of my toolkit. You know another great one? Let's see. 1001 of the Smartest Things Ever Said. I love this book as a resource. I'm going to put that in there. You all know Michael Beckwith? Yeah, Michael Beckwith, brilliant man. Lovely. I'm going to put that book in there because it works for me. The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. This is a magnificent book that, yes, I'm going to put that in there. It's part of my spiritual toolkit. Let's see, The Power of Decision. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. Let's see. Deepak Chopra, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. Edwene Gaines, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. Thomas Troward, The Creative Process in the Individual. And Thomas More, The Care of the Soul, another brilliant book. Joel Goldsmith, Practicing the Presence. Let's see. Mark Nepo, 7,000 Ways to Listen. Ralph Waldo Emerson, one of the primary influences on Ernest Holmes. Oh, I love this one. Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, and Lao Tzu, The Parallel Sayings. And so they've done like where the philosophies intersect and are the same. This was the man who taught me this path, James Mellon, Reverend Dr. James Mellon. I'm going to teach this book. We're going to do Mental Muscle one of these days. Great one. I love Science of Mind magazine, a great resource that comes out every month. And I love my spiritual music, too. Lisa and Erica with Sacred, and Jamie Lula, Something's Calling Me, Karen Drucker, The Call, Gary Lynn Floyd, Then and Now. Let's see, Michael Gott and Faith Rivera. I'm going to put these all in my spiritual toolbox. Oh, and then there's this really incredibly brilliant book by this gentleman named Jonathan Zenz. I'm going to put that in there too. All right. I carry this around with me everywhere I go. Think about that. I carry this around with me everywhere I go. But what is the value of that? And how does this allow me to take that step into personal transformation? They're tools, for sure. But here's the other thing that happens. Sometimes we get mired in what we have established within ourselves as precedent. This is all precedent that I have established in my life. And now, because I have decided to, my life unfolds based on that precedent. But the nature of spirit is infinite. The nature of this creative principle is infinite. And Thomas Troward says, principle is not bound by precedent. So how long am I going to carry this precedent around? Or am I willing to step into something new, some new idea, some forward-thinking evolutionary idea? Tucson New Thought I call a center for spiritual evolution because I think we need to go beyond the livingness. We need to go into our evolution. And we are the ones who are in charge of that. Ernest Holmes wrote this, psychologists contend that a neurotic thought pattern will repeat itself with monotonous regularity until the pattern is changed. And so, I have created, through all of this, Getting the point? Psychologists contend that a neurotic thought pattern will repeat itself with monotonous regularity until the pattern is changed. So I can carry these books around, and that is a repeating thought pattern that I'm going to live my life based on this repeating thought pattern of all the stuff that I have read and I'm carrying it around all the time. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So if my life is not where I want it to be yet, what is the value of holding on to this? Everybody's going, whoa. That's the question. And here's the problem. I don't know that I have the answer. Here's the answer. Pray. Allow yourself to be guided by that inner voice. I'm guided by a lot of outer voices. But to what degree have I stepped into allowing myself to be guided by that inner voice, that inside understanding, that deep, deep connection to the truth of who I am already? Not trying to reach some ideal, not trying to connect with spirit, because as I said right at the beginning, I cannot be more connected to spirit because I am fully 100% spirit, as are each and every one of us. Principle not being bound by precedent. All power, all spiritual power is right now at our disposal. We are unlimited, except to the degree that we limit ourselves. I am limited to certain ways of thinking and being because I have immersed myself in a habitual consciousness of this. But maybe there's something more. These were brilliant minds that brought all of this work. They're brilliant minds. But what's next? Ernest Holmes was very clear in his ministry, in his teaching, in his stepping into I did this on purpose. He was very clear. He was not in the same place in the late 1950s that he was in 1920s when he wrote The Science of Mind and Spirit. He was in a very different place. He had evolved. And so, my call to each and every one of us today is, in what way might we step into our own personal evolution? If we are ready to be expressing from that unlimited place, right here and right now, what do we need to do? We need to put down the sack of previous experiences and unburden ourselves. I feel so much lighter, right? When we step into this, here's what happens. The physicality follows the consciousness. I feel emotional around what I'm about to say because it was a challenge for me. I experienced the last year that I was serving as spiritual director in CSL Toronto, Center for Spiritual Living Toronto, quite a lot of weight gain. And I'm a science of mind minister. I'm a religious science minister. I'm a new thought minister. I know that if I am having a physical expression that is not in alignment with who I know myself to be, it is not because I need to get to the gym more, or I need to stop eating certain things, or I need to do this, although those are all good things. What I need to do is I need to allow myself to go back to the consciousness that created the weight gain to begin with. And so, something needed to transform in my life. And I've stepped into that transformation, and I am grateful to a particular person who came up to me and said today, wow, you're really losing weight. Because here's what's happened. I have allowed myself to be unburdened by the past that was holding me down and weighing me down, and allow myself to be lightened. And so yes, I am losing weight, and I'm grateful because I feel like I am, again, moving into the direction of the body that I would like to have in this experience. Don't allow yourself to be weighed down. Release the burdens of your thinking, because that's where it all starts. Thoughts, belief, feeling. We can be burdened by those things. So how do we release these things? First of all, by the recognition that spirit itself is unbound. Spirit is unbound. Well, I can relax into that. Spirit is unbound. And you know what? Not only do we have access to this spiritual power, we are this spiritual power. So if you follow the logic, if spirit is unbound, and I am spirit, I am unbound. Identify with that understanding of the self. Recognize and know who we are at the core. And this is when I do say that thing that makes a lot of people go, ugh, because it's rooted in that burden of the past. So I'm going to invite you to simply let go of the burden of the past, and I would like each and every one of you to say the following 3 words after I say them. These are the words. I am God. How does that feel? Good. It should feel good. It is a claiming of the truth of who we are, because God is not something out there. God is that thing within each and every one of us. And it is the ultimate equalizer, because when I recognize the truth of who I am, I see it in everyone I encounter. So we identify the self with that power. I am God. Increase expectation for what you would like your life to be. Deepen in that realization of who you inherently are, and then commit to the spiritual practice, which will lead to your personal transformation. Sometimes things will come up, thoughts will come up, old ideas will come up. Argue against old thinking. We get to do that. There are two types of prayer. Spiritual mind treatment, we call it within this philosophy. There are two types of prayer. Realization, which is, I am God. Basically, I am God. And argumentative, which means we take that concept and we say, I see the thing out here that I do not want to experience any longer, and I'm going to argue for the spiritual truth of that understanding so that my life will transform into what I would like it to be. So, realization or argument or argumentation? That's all of a sudden the word doesn't even sound right to me anymore. Because I think the more powerful and effective method of prayer is realization. I just think it's more powerful because I'm not bringing in the circumstantial world. I'm knowing the truth. Period. End of sentence. Full stop, as they say in Canada, and I say into my iPhone when I'm doing text, voice to text. Our new declarations of truth have power, Ernest Holmes writes. Our new declarations of truth have the power within themselves to completely destroy old thought patterns. If we are looking for personal transformation, we must commit to the spiritual practice. We must, because that, for me, is how we transform. Spiritual practice is the thing that has transformed my life. And so, my main modes of practice are prayer, also known as spiritual mind treatment, meditation, affirmation, centering, visioning, and so much more. But I also live with this in mind at all times, that I am God 24/7, and so I better act accordingly. That's a spiritual practice. That's a spiritual practice. And so let us go to that place of trust and be rooted in gratitude and grace. Breathing in this moment and allowing ourselves to relax right where we are, each and every one of us. Here's what I know. I know that there is only one power, one presence, one infinite creative source for all that is. There is absolutely no separation between the thing and the source. It is all one, unified wholeness. And this is true for each and every one of us. We are, each and every one of us, centered points of light, of that infinite light, expressing the infinite life through our own life. Experiencing infinite love through our own expression, giving and receiving of love. This is the truth. And so I know that each and every one of us in this moment now are unburdened by anything that has preceded this moment. We are each and every one of us lightened and enlightened into the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. For this is the nature of evolution. Evolution takes place when it is required. And so I know that evolution is required through each and every one of us. Right here and right now is the seed which is planted, which then transforms into the magnificent tree. And this is who we are. I trust this, and I know this with deep gratitude in my heart, allowing that gratitude feeling to well up and be fully formed and expressed in my beingness. I trust, I know, I release and let go and allow it to simply unfold Knowing this is so, I let it be so. As together we say, and so it is. Namaste. I am grateful to Spirit for not giving me too much inside information about where I'm going to go and just letting it flow. So Tucson New Thought is a community that is supported through your gifts and your investment, your tithe, whatever you choose to call it. So we are supported through generosity, and I'm going to invite you to take out whatever it is that you are offering the center today. Whether you call it a gift, a contribution, your investment, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's part of the infinite wholeness. It is Spirit expressing itself as well. And I simply call it sharing. The consciousness of giving is a starting point that engages us each in the consciousness of receiving, because it is all flow. And we get to unkink the hose at all times. So there are options for giving. You can give right here in person. We're going to pass the basket in just a moment. You can give with a card if that is something that you would like to do. And if you're online with us, you can click the link right there in the description field of this video and give online as well. Money is love in action, and I do honor your investment in our vision and mission. So let's read together the divine givingness statement, which is on our handout. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that Spirit is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And William is going to pass the basket. Thank you, William. We do continue to have needs as we continue to grow and welcome new people into our fold. I am so grateful for everyone who steps up each week. If you have a willingness to serve as a greeter or an usher or provide hospitality on a Sunday, there's a sign-up sheet on the tables over there. There's also I think everybody here is on the email list, but if you're not, you can also sign up to be on the email list. If you're online, just go to our website if you're not signed up, and you can sign up to be on our email list there. We are still taking prayer requests, as always, every week. There are prayer request forms on the table as well, and so those are whatever is happening in your life. If you would like to change it, transform it, if you are not in the place of belief, we get to be in that place of belief for you. And here's the truth. The moment you put pen to paper and make your claim that you would like transformation, the change has already started. And so if you would like prayer, you can write out the request and put it in the basket over there as well. We are continuing membership. If you would like to become a member of Tucson New Thought, there are membership forms there as well. And I would like to let everyone know who's already signed up for membership that we will be having a ceremonial, not induction, but we'll have a ceremonial celebration of your commitment to membership within this organization as well. I want to offer my here's what I would like to do. I would like to offer my gratitude for all that has been contributed right here and right now. So just taking a breath, taking a moment to allow us to recognize the blessing and knowing that it is magnificently moving forth, handled, and appropriately utilized for the growth of this center and for the growth of this message and for the good of all humanity. I know that there is magnificence in this basket. I am grateful to everyone here, and so it is. I want to say thank you to Spark Project Collective and Johnny for allowing us to be a part of this experience and this room where they have so graciously hosted us for these past several months. I would like to say thank you to Aiden on our technical support and making sure that we get out to the web and that you can all hear in the room. I'm pretty loud, so it doesn't take much. That theater training. I would like to thank Karimon for her reading and reflection. Magnificent, and it brought back a lot of memories for me today. I'd like to thank William and Anita for providing hospitality today, for Marvis, our greeter today, and to each and every one of you for being here and being present. I'm going to invite Anita to join me. Let's just allow ourselves to close out this time in reflection on what has unfolded. allowing ourselves to take into consideration whatever it is that has touched our soul. Perhaps the entire message today is too much, but there was a kernel that we get to carry with us as we move from this place into the next thing, and in the next thing, and the next thing. There is an inherent truth within each and every one of us that is fully expressed in the here and now. It is a powerful truth, and I give in to this truth as I bless our time moving forward.
May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on.
And so as we allow ourselves to step into the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, I invite us all to more deeply understand that it is in the knowledge, the assured and secure knowledge that we are God, that we are this infinite presence made manifest in the here and now, and that our entire lives are always unfolding perfectly, easefully, and effortlessly with gratitude, trust, and grace. Knowing this, allowing this, and with deep gratitude, I allow this time to be complete. As together we say, and so it is.
Shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on.
Namaste, everyone. Thank you for being here today.